Instead of calling it Tornado Alley, they should call it Tornado Freeway. That's what's great about voiceover. You kind of run the gamut. You never know what you're going to get in front of you. It's
When you're a
great to,
freelancer, you're like a juggler. There's always balls in the air. It's,
yeah.
I own Home Care Coordinators of Wisconsin, which is a supportive home care agency working with disabled and seniors and other people that need that extra help.
we were on a cruise and they had a dance party and they started playing 70s, and even kids who were like 15 knew these songs.
I created digital voices to create a platform for those that needed one. I focused a little bit about myself early on. To get the hang of it, I started out by interviewing my friends, and I fortunately knew a lot of really interesting people, or at least they were interesting to me. So his mom went in for a routine hip replacement and unfortunately ended up being left alone post-operative, and she was bleeding out internally, which led to a stroke, and that led her to hospice immediately, where she
Wow.
slowly died miserably over
My
the course of
God.
10 years.
Yeah. I covered the Twilight Zone movie murder case where John Landis, the well-known director,
Yeah.
trial because he was accused of lowering the helicopter when they were filming the movie that killed actor Vic Morrow.
You can toss yourself in a direction, but life shifts you to where you need to be
Hmm.
depending on the skills you bring to the table. Working with movement attorneys, senior White House staffers, state representatives, all the way to people looking for a kidney or organ transplant and the system failed. And
Wow.
network, I have helped straighten things out, which ended up saving lives. Anytime you can do something like that and you're doing the right stuff.
No matter what aspect of the industry or industries that we're in, that ultimately is the goal and the takeaway for everything, whether we're driving trucks or we're an actor.
Learning on analog gave me all of those skills that transferred into digital. I just turned 50 this year, so I was born in 74. While to some that seems to be a dinosaur, to me, the generation before me was truly a dinosaur. When a computer
Yeah,
used to fill up an entire warehouse just for
true.
one computer, I found myself becoming a chameleon. There's a certain amount of imposter syndrome that comes along with any new endeavor. The more you do it, the more it cements you either as you're good at this or you need to figure out something else.
I'll tell you, the business has changed so drastically from when I've been in it, and not in a good way.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
there's so much more demand. Like when I was in it, we didn't have the internet when I first started. Local news was the big game in town. Everyone tuned in to watch it, and therefore all the stations were really highly staffed.
Hmm.
They really stressed quality. They wanted experience. Like I'll give you an example. Right now, there's people going into the Dallas market right out of college, which blows my mind because when I started in
Yeah.
the business, you wouldn't think about going to Dallas with less than 10 years of experience.
For us right now, AI tools has allowed us to save probably hundreds of man hours with what it's able to do and help us with.
Once the newness wears off of AI and the pendulum swings the other way, we'll find it as an amazing tool. For you to survive this, you got to start to utilize it as a tool
Right.
and not let it overtake you.
AI has definitely taken a bite out of the business, but I think within time, human voices are always going to be
I
part of it
think
because people like working with
Well,
humans.
doing
Mhm.
this from Hollywood to the Heartland is really enjoyable for me because I get to work with my friends.
You
Who
could
doesn't
watch
like
the waves and the celebrities roll in.
I always felt I was the bartender's bartender. I could always make all the good drinks, and I would make it fun. So I found that butterscotch and hot sex, the drink, was really good together.
Now you can say, you've shaken the hand of the man who shook the hand of Sir Charles Chaplin. Has anyone ever told you that you're fat? He said, no, no one's ever told me that I'm fat. I'm so glad that you've told me that. I'll never forget. That was the first magic I've ever seen in my life, was pulling coins out of the air and out of someone's ear. I was mesmerized and clung to his leg. I was absolutely shocked. he was turning pencils into rubber. All of a sudden they bounced.
The big thing that I'm hearing throughout this episode is
Mhm.
diversification. The more you know how to do, the more you can diversify, the more you can offer, the more marketable you are. There's not necessarily a secret sauce to all this. Maybe to a certain extent, diversifying, applying yourself, drive, all those things go into it. But honestly, it's how much you want to work at something that gets you to where you're going to go, right?
They need to be advised of that. There's so many pipe dreams that are pumped out by these predators that say that you get with the right coach, you get with the right agent, there's a magic pill. There's not. Just a basic Uber ride is more expensive in Los Angeles than in Omaha, Nebraska. If you're willing to take that step, it's fine, but you better have a plan B, because if not, you're just going to be knocked on your butt and scared. What's important at the end of the day is that you enjoy your craft and that you're able to support yourself and possibly others with your craft.
Everybody always spells my name wrong. It's Beau. Last name Tiffany, just like the jeweler, Tifany.
We want to aim the podcast at what you're interested in. If you're interested in anything we've talked about today, let us know.
It's just the demand right now, the workload demand with the way things are, it's intense. And that's one
Why
of the
not?
reasons I'm having a hard time staffing newsrooms is that people are getting burned out.
Horrible. You either get on the AI train or you get run over by it. It's not to be feared. It's actually incredible.
You take a
Anyway.
genius and you put the right tools in their hand, or a tool
Mhm.
like AI in their hand, and it's amazing what they can come up with. So